timer gets away from me. All right, and I don't know what it is I do throughout the week that causes the webcam that I have mounted up there to just like turn, but I mean it's attached to the desk, right? So it's not like the desk is moving. Something is happening now. All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna turn the mic volume up a little bit more. See how that does. Oh. Well, here we are again. Doing some Godot game dev experiments, learning activities. Kind of still working on the platformer, and I imagine we'll spend some time there. I do want to eventually do this some kind of tower defense game as well as practice, so we can do some stuff with isometric. A lot of these things are things I want to figure out. It's not so I didn't just put together a list of like, oh, here's all the stuff in Godot. I want to learn everything. I'm like not even doing any 3D stuff, right? But specifically, there's a set of features that I think will make sense for the game that I want to make, which at some point I'll have to share more about. But essentially, it is a game, a kind of like sci-fi noir, I guess, sort of in a sort of a Blade Runner style, really. Now that I think about it, with a game mechanic of the player has let's say a companion that they help develop. So it's kind of RPG like, but the RPG mechanics are tied around this companion that you have, and you level them up. So you don't really necessarily have stats for yourself. And current plans, there's not even any like in the in the main part of the world that your characters move around in. There's not even really any like combat. It's very dialogue heavy, very like conversation and interaction. Either like face-to-face interactions or through a computer, or like hacking and other kind of security mini games. But part of it is going to be some of the things I want to do in the platformer here, of having like a top-down map that you're able to navigate around in, and then you're able to go into an area, and then the locations are isometric 2D. So you have this kind of like side top perspective of your character that's moving around, and you can walk around in a scene or a room. And so that might be like a business, like a coffee shop or an apartment or an office, or like a subway or a light rail station or something like that. And then you have like dialogue, which is what we were seeing with hey Vivax, how's it going? Something where we have like a dialogue where, at least in the version that we have right now, let's see, does it still play today? You're refactoring your CI pipeline. That's always potentially fun or terrifying. How's that going? Press action key to interact, right? So right now we have this dialogue where the character that we're talking with, they pop up. So I'm imagining in the game I want to build, we have like our character and the character we're talking to would both be on screen, and we'd have like animated like who's talking when, and sounds and all those things, which seems like things that we can do with the add-on that we're using, right? With Dialogic 2. All right, so right now we have a bug though, I think. Have been warming up to Dagger. I've not heard of Dagger. Is that that. Okay, so I have paused the game, and the pause menu, one, is not on top. That's a problem. And two, a long-standing issue is that I can't hit escape again to unpause the game from here. So I need to fix that. A build system that you configure via code. Sure. Dagger, huh? I like learning about new things. That is not... Dagger.io? Is this it? Oh, including LLMs, run them anywhere, built by the creators of Docker. So we could do TypeScript. Okay. Specifically for Docker, with service binding, with mounted directory. Huh. I'd have to look at this more. Let me put this off to the side for now. Look into it a little bit more. Okay, so right, we have some bugs. Let's fix bugs. We should fix bugs. Lets you do fun stuff like pull the std out of a container's command. Processing uses input to another container. Interesting. Okay. I recently. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Kind of having like multi-stage builds. I can see. It feels like there's some reasons why you might want to you might end up in a situation where you would do that. What was I gonna say? I recently have started. Actually, I think we did some of that on stream a month or two ago with Docker buildx bake. So you just have a config, and then you can outline all of the different images you want to bake in a Go. I don't know if that has any kind of inter-container communication though. Probably not if you're looking at a tool like this. But anyway, okay. So I'm not gonna get distracted. In theory, you can program up a CI pipeline that completely changes the build graph based on the result of their operation. So you could have yeah, you could have containers that return stuff that then causes. I think there's some risk there of making things overly complex. I'm sure there's a use case there. So your CI pipeline right now is spinning up a dozen test containers, collecting reports from them, doing post-processing past all of those. Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, general. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, once I saw it, it's interesting, right? At least I think it's interesting to me. As soon as I saw that it was it's building Docker images, my mind focused in on just the build aspect of that. But yeah, being able to run containers that are doing tests, doing test reporting, that sort of stuff. Interesting. Yeah, I think CI/CD wise, typically I'm doing some combination. For the Daily Jewel app, it's all GitHub Actions that just have a set of actions that are SSH into a server, run a script, those sorts of things for the actual deploy. For build, building Docker images is it. I should do more test automation for my personal projects, but I'm lazy. Standard-based test runner. Yeah, super overkill if all you have are simple unit tests, but I have a bunch of learners, you run multiple integrations and tests, yes. Professionally, I do. And I will say that I have a lot of experience with AWS's code build and code pipeline for doing that sort of thing, and then using like CloudFormation or the CDK to stand up those pipelines there. So then in that way you have code-based CI/CD pipelines, but kind of indirect, right? Where it's like, oh, I can write TypeScript with a AWS Cloud Development Kit that will create a CloudFormation template that will provision like a pipeline and then do stuff in it. What was it saying about bugs? Okay, so what changed here? Oh, we probably did something. Lines changed here or something? Whatever. So the menu is a problem. So in our UI, we have a menu. And we have a pause screen. And that's our pause screen inside of the UI. So we'll go look at that in a second. Is there... Credits on my score. Score menu. So here's our menu scene. And so let's just look at it in Godot. Let's just look at it in Godot. Where is that? Oh yeah, there's a UI folder. So here's the scene. So then we have our start screen and our pause screen. And initially, it's the start screen is visible, the pause screen is not. And then we don't have a script on this. We just have one on game menu. I guess the thing to do. So in the main scene, we have game scene, game menu. So we're gonna solve the dialogue issue. I want to solve the menu issue first, which is that we're not listening for the escape key when the pause menu's up. So let's fix that. So I think we can just do we have? We don't really have like the game. I mean, we do. We pause the scene tree, right? When the game is paused. Here. And we show things. Make sure the pause screen is shown. We hide the start screen. We hide the background. Having spent a little bit more time in Godot since I wrote this several projects ago, I mean, it might make more sense to just have separate like pause screen, start screen scenes, and then have this logic elsewhere. Maybe like in the game manager. I don't know. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna add a variable here on pause screen. False. Do that, right? Unused private class variable. Yes. So when we pause the game, we say, if the game is already paused, do nothing. So why do I want to have a separate private variable here for are we on the pause menu? So there's a couple different reasons why, from the perspective of like this node, that get tree.paused would be true. One is that we are actually on the main menu. The game is paused when we're on the main menu. The game is paused when we're transitioning to show the main menu. In fact, is this duplicative? Background show, start screen show, on return main menu button pressed versus on exit button pressed. weird. Anyway, I'm not gonna touch it. Hey, Moody Abigail, thanks for the lurk. Sorry, Moody Abigail support. Appreciate your lurking support. Your supporting lurk. Alright. So I think in this case, what we're gonna do is we're going to let's say is on pause screen, because I feel like saying starting it with on suggests that this is like a callback. Okay. So then we do that. Now when we unpause, we do that. Hey, Akane9, hello. How's it going? Hydrate. I will do that. I have water, not just coffee. All right. I will be going back to the coffee though, until it's gone. Speaking of which. Coffee is the best. Yeah, I usually have what is essentially a strong Americano. I do 2 shots of espresso and then fill the top with hot water from my espresso machine, and that's my fix for the morning. Doing all right, you know, trying to remember how to do things. We are 14 weeks. And this is the week number 14 of doing Godot on stream. And that sounds like a lot, but I basically only do stuff for the stream. So it's like 3, actually that adds up to a bit, doesn't it? Right? So like, 13 so far times 3 hours. It's 39 hours of working on projects. It's starting to add up to almost a work week. Put that in perspective. So when we return, on return main menu button pressed. So this is on start button pressed. Pause the game, hide the game menu. So like I could just go through each of these and say is on pause screen false. Well, I would rather do this where it makes sense, right? So on return main menu button pressed, so we are on the pause screen if we are calling this, right? So which is interesting. That means we probably don't need to pause the game if we're calling on return main menu button pressed. We can say is on pause screen is false though. This is where like a state machine could be good. I mean, we only have a few states, but then we can say, oh, if it's this state transition, like, okay, oh, the state is we're on the main screen. The state is we're playing the game. The state is we're on the pause screen. And then we have like enumerated, like when we go from here to here, these are all the things we need to do. And we don't need to do them for any other things. So on exit button pressed, we are pausing, show start screen, hide. Okay, so this is also coming from the pause screen. On start button pressed. So this is from the main. We could actually add a note here from the start screen. On restart button pressed from the pause screen. So if this is from the pause screen, we want to change this to false. Key binding. So this is all other things. These are like sub menus inside of the menu. So I think we don't want to change anything there. Yes. So what is so besides setting this, what are we doing with this? Oh, right. So the whole point of this is that I wanted to have a thing where func input, is it input or unhandled input? And what's the difference? So input is called when there is an input event. The input event propagates up through the node tree until a node consumes it. It is only called if input processing is enabled, which is done automatically if this method is overridden and can be toggled. For gameplay input, unhandled input and unhandled key input are usually a better fit, as they allow the GUI to intercept events first. Shall we try unhandled input or unhandled key input? I think key input will make sense here. Yeah, and so we have Copilot here to suggest some code. If is on pause screen. If event is action press UI cancel on pause. If we're not on the pause screen, we can check to see if we want to pause it. Interesting. How is the pause menu being triggered right now? Actually, is that maybe that's happening in our main game script? Or in game manager? Not in game manager. Because that's not an auto load. Yeah, no. Where are we using UI cancel? So in our main script, we have this input. Aha. Hey, look, I did part of this before. If is game paused. Check if the game is paused. Well, this is not working though. So one thing is, I don't know that we need to do any of this stuff I was working on for the last 10 minutes. Because this is already supposed to happen. So why isn't it? So if I go back to Godot, so that main script is attached to, let's collapse down something. That's attached to our main scene, right here. Is this a matter of process mode? So when it's pausable, stops processing when scene tree.pause is true. Do we want to have this to be always? Maybe, as long as the game scene has a different setting. So it shouldn't be inherited, it should be pausable. Right, so it shouldn't inherit that setting from the main scene. The game menu is always. Ah, I see. So that's what happened. So the logic for unpausing the game was on the main node. The main node, though, was set to actually respect the pause setting, and so nothing could be triggered when the game was paused. And I had thought to set the game menu to always process things even when the game is paused, but the logic for handling unpause wasn't there. So we have two alternate. This is really convenient for like comparing and contrasting two different like ways of implementing a thing, right? Because we never implemented it one way, and I just got done implementing it a second way. Which one is better? So this way, so we have pause game and unpause game, and those call into the game menu and call those. So that's what's calling pause and unpause. I could just move this into the menu. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Like, this doesn't feel like this should be here. Is anything else in this calling pause game? Or unpause game? Or resume game? This is calling resume game. Which is right, because it's calling gaming.unpause. I might just take this. We're gonna simplify our main script here. We're gonna get rid of these. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna take this out. Okay, our main script is now simpler. We don't need to make this change to the main node now. So it can just be the default. And so that means game scene also can go back to being inherit. I needed to override this so that it didn't inherit when I changed the main node. Our scene root, that's fine now. And then so if we're on the pause screen, let's see, is there a simpler way? Yeah, can't we just reverse this? Like that. So, let's see if that fixes our issue. Let us restart. New game. Well, the game's not broken, so that's good. So if I hit escape, and I hit escape again, we can unpause. Yay. Fixing an issue that's been around for a couple of games now. Alright, so then if we hit here, I can pause the game and unpause. But our menu is still below the dialogue. So for that, I probably need to go look at the dialogic docs. So by default, I know what we can do. If we go over here and we go to remote, we can see what dialogic does in the running game, right? So in the running game, what it's done is it's added a new node to the root called dialogic layout visual novel style. And so that is below main, which is where gaming is, and that's why it is on top of our menu, and that's no good. Is there a way to control where dialogic adds the layout node? Okay, so dialogic 2 nodes, custom nodes. You can handle presentation of your timelines. Usually, dialogic will add a layout scene made of dialogic nodes. This is what happens if you call start. Is that this? So there's dialogic here. Okay, I think it's talking about this. This is like the nodes that represent the stuff we built in the dialogic tab last stream. Look, there's stuff for voice. The audio stream player. Very cool. Lots of stuff in there. And then this layout. Okay. This topic closely relates to styles and layouts, so we'll look at that. We'll look at that next. Dialogic node. Many events have nodes that you need if you want to actually affect the game. Aww. Okay. Nope. Okay. Not relevant. Styles and layouts. Nodes that can be placed in any scene. These nodes will be activated by dialogic and do wildly different things, from displaying text, labels, choices, playing sounds. Layout scenes are scenes that contain both nodes and other Godot control nodes and custom scripts and provide a standalone UI part. So there's a visual novel text box scene, glossary pop-up scene, centered choices scene. Here, you can load style before calling start or by assigning a style to a character. Okay. So you can have different like UI layouts for different characters. Custom nodes. Utilities pausing. If you want to pause the dialogue without pausing the scene tree, you can do that. Auto advance, auto skips, character events, creating timelines and code. Okay. So in our code, dialogic. Let's exclude add-ons. There we go. So in our NPC entity script, we call dialogic.start. It ensures a layout scene is present. Is there... Let's stop this. There we go. I don't suppose there is... Maybe we can like explicitly add where that goes. There's no descriptions on these. That's no good. Background transition, layout base, layout layer, portrait subsystem. Okay, so we'll go back to the docs again. So nodes. None of these really look promising. Other? Visual editor fields, subsystem. So here's the dialogic subsystem that we saw. Nope. Settings page, resource util, portrait, layout layer. This is usually turned on automatically when the layer is realized. Just turn it off if you want to modify the settings yourself. Okay. Got this whole thing for subsystem here. Styles, text, variables, voice, jump history. Okay. Reference manager. So this is talking about timelines and character unique identifiers. I don't need to know about that right now. Back to here. Maybe in the FAQ. How do I make the dialogue show up? Oh, we know that. We did that. Let's create a layout scene. What does this take me to? Back to here. Alright, is there something that I missed here that was relevant to visual novel text box scene? Working with styles. Style is made up of a base layout scene and settings for that scene, a list of layers, scenes, and settings for each layer. You know what I should do? I should go to the dialogic tab. There we go. Is there more options in here? Just for like general settings. Hey, look, settings. All right, on timeline end, delete layout node, extensions folder, process timers and physics, create extensions, section order, okay, color palette, text, audio, portraits, history, lot of stuff. Neat. What I'm trying to figure out though is, can I tell it where it should add the nodes that it's going to add into the scene tree? Add a character, add a timeline, maybe. No. Back to here. Okay, and this is just the intro. Well, let's look at the wiki. Is that different? No, it's the same thing. And customization by design. Okay, well, when the documentation fails us, it's always the code. Version. And yeah, I could, I mean, obviously we have a copy of the code in our add-ons folder in the project, but I'm here. Let's see. So, plugin config? Nope. Resources. Layout base. Not exactly sure. So roughly I'm looking for something in the code that's going to tell me this is how it decides where in the scene tree. Like maybe it's just adding it to the root. But I would like to just see where that's happening. There's dialogic layout. This is what we were just on, I think so. Style. This is a resource. Layer info, layer list, inherits. Inherits layer list, layer info. Like this looks like the resource that you can instantiate to like create a variant of a style. Resource loader, load threaded request, add layer. Huh. I guess I can make this a little bit bigger for stream. It's probably kind of small, huh? Handler, util, subsystem. What's in here? Okay, so this is what's used as the auto load. Current timeline events, index info, current state changed, pause with a setter. Definitely something I can take advantage of in places. Creating a member variable on a class and having a setter and getter. We're pulling in all the things. So, okay, so when start is called, that's some checks here, and then it says styles has active layout node. Style get layout node. Interesting. So then presumably load style, whatever that is, does something that gets a layout node. timeline. Okay. That's that scene. If not seen is node ready, we do various things. I'll start timeline and we return the scene. Then it looks like start timeline. Okay, what's the difference? Methods to start timeline without adding a layout scene. So I think we call start. Is that right? Yeah, start. But start ends up calling start timeline once it's done these checks. Okay, so let's find where the self.styles.loadStyle is. Styles is our subsystem styles in module style. Now, one assumption I've made is that it doesn't, and I think we've started to see that in the code that I've just been looking at, that the node for the layout, like essentially what gets shown that's overlapping our pause menu, isn't added until we actually engage in dialogue. And we could actually see that in game, right? If we go back here and we play, and we're looking at remote, right? So go to new game. Sorry, we go to remote. So we have dialogic here, but that's below main. But we don't see the overlay until we engage with the dialogue, and then it adds it down here. So that's why I'm assuming that I'm on the right path. That we call load style, and it does some stuff, and something in here adds it to the scene tree. Create layout. Okay, and this says this emits the style changed event and returns the new layout. If I recall correctly, let's actually just duplicate this and then we'll go back. Oops. What are we here? Yes. When we start, we do have the scene and we show it, but it's not added to the tree, so that must happen in here somewhere. It is load style, right? Yeah. Load style. It's a style, and then get layout node if it exists, which suggests that initially it wouldn't. So this would be not valid. It would be falsy or something or other. Then we create a layout. Style parent. What is parent? It is the node that is passed as the second argument to load style. No arguments are passed to load style. No. Okay. So if parent is null, I'm assuming create layout is where we add it to parent. Now, the layout scene will be added to the tree root and returned. If parent is null, call dialogic.getParent. Interesting. So where is that function defined, and how does it determine what it returns? I assume that's in the auto load, right? So actually, here, hold on. Let's stay in this context, then we'll go back to this tab, right? So if we go back to all symbol outline's not available for this file. That's too bad. What was it called? Get parent? Is this not? Huh. Interesting. Index class. What is this? I will try again. I could probably search for func get parent. Doesn't appear to exist. Let's try going back to here. Only search add-ons. Get parent directory. Okay. Right. So I guess get parent is probably a method on node. And so what it's saying is that it's saying, hey, wherever the dialogic node is, get its parent, and then add the layout scene to that same parent. Right. So I think ultimately that behavior is coming from the fact that in our plugins, right, we have dialogic. It's going to add it to the root node, and everything else follows from there. So that's a dead end. That's a dead end, but that's okay. What we're going to do, is there a way to... Oh, canvas layer. Can we just increase this number? Or for that matter, well, let's play the game. Maybe there's a canvas. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're learning. Maybe. Aha! As simple as that. So what I was curious about, though, if we look at remote, so this node, it's on canvas layer 1. Canvas layer 1. Yep. That's fine. Okay, well anyway, we fixed the problems. We got there. We got there eventually. So what were we trying to do? Well, we were trying to fix 2 bugs. Spent a lot of time doing it. So pause menu hidden by dialog, and so not and not being able to pause, to unpause with escape. Yeah, so we fixed those. And we did that by changing the canvas layer of the game menu, by re-implementing our are we pause on the pause screen or not functionality in the UI menu, scene script. Too many words that start with us in this. You have screens and scenes and scripts. And then we removed code from our main script that we didn't need anymore. And then I think maybe new lines were changed in this file. And then in project.godot, I think we went to the settings tab of the dialogic view for the first time, and so it added all this stuff. It's kind of like default settings. So that's fine. So let's see. In fact, your pause functionality enhance menu interactions. That's about right. Did I push directly to this branch, or did I disable that on this rebuild? Alright, I did it. Okay. Well, so the next thing on the list to do is that I had some pull requests. This one is merged. So I was playing around. I think that was on stream last week. I was playing around with the new being able to take a GitHub issue and assign it to Copilot here, and it will create a pull request for you. And so this adds the concept of a sword swipe as I guess it made a scene. Now what's fun is this is talking about textures that I'm pretty sure don't exist, so we'll have some fun with this. I think what I will do, I'm gonna go review what's going on with this. We'll update, solve conflicts. Okay, let's do it. Let's resolve conflicts, but I'm gonna do it by checking out this branch. Yep, and then we will get full origin main, and we'll do a rebase merge and figure out what the merge conflicts were. From here. It's an interesting warning. Unexpected VCS conflict marker in class body. Very specific. Yeah, so I think we're just taking the incoming change. So this is basically my first attempt was to check to see if the target detector, which was a raycast 2D, is colliding with something, figure out what it's colliding with, and then give it damage. But instead, in this change, we are moving that to perform sword attack. If we're not attacking, we attempt, if we if we have an input and it's the game interact key and it's not an NPC interaction and we have a sword and we're not already attacking, then we attack. And we do that by setting its attacking true. We play the sprite, and then we have a callback that's triggered when the sprite animation is finished. And some logic here that I'm not sure if I believe quite yet, but we'll go with it. So we're going to accept incoming change, and that's how we're going to resolve this merge. And yep. Kind of it's interesting. There's probably a setting or something, but something that I've observed as someone who going between different repositories, where in some places it's merge commits and then squash into the main branch, whatever that branch happens to be called, and other places where you're rebasing your work branch and then rebasing and merging cleanly onto your main branch, so you don't have any merge commits. So jumping between the two, it's always, and again, there's probably a setting that maybe I should look for in VS Code where one, it doesn't want to pull and force a rebase from here, and then when I do it manually, it's like, oh, you need to pull down thing. Like it doesn't understand that what I'm trying to do is like update the history of the branch. there's a setting. VS Code. Get rebase workflow push button. Yeah, pull rebase, sure. Yeah, I've done that. But it doesn't seem to want to push, like force push. Yep, still open. Anyway, that's fine. We're gonna take a break here though, because it's been an hour, and when I come back, we will be doing some more Godot stuff. Whatever is. Oh yeah. Sword animation and attacking. So, be back in just a few.